name is Boman Irani. I'm an actor, just making sure. Right. Come on. Little energy loud. I'm going to start my story. How are you? How are you, darling? I was born in 1959 December. Don't calculate, please. I was born in 1959 December. My father passed away in 1959 May. I was born 6 months after the death of my father. My story is not an extraordinary story. It's an everyman story. It's about somebody who wanted something, right? So I was surrounded by women. My mother, 3 sisters. I'm in mummy's belly, right? And I come into this world and I'm surrounded by women who just mollycoddle me. It's good. I have a good feminine side. I understand women pretty well. But it may not be good in the long run to toughen you up in life. And I never spoke. I never spoke because I had a speech defect. I stuttered, I stammered, and I had a lisp like a virus. I talk like this. And people used to laugh. And it's perfectly okay to laugh, sir. Sir, you can laugh. It's perfectly okay to laugh. But I just thought something's wrong with me. I'm damaged goods. So I never, ever spoke. I just did not speak. I went to St. Mary's School to meet Father Molyneux to give an entrance exam. Father Molyneux was the kindest old man in the world. Kindest old man, I tell you. And he said, don't worry, Mrs. Irani. You don't worry about it. And he put me on his lap. It's not allowed nowadays. That kind of, but he put me on his lap and he showed me a photograph of a horse. Now, if I had to say horse, I would have to say it like this. But I was not willing to say it, so I kept quiet. Then he showed me a photograph of a mouse. So whatever, I wouldn't say it. And he didn't give me admission. He didn't. How? Who is he going to give me admission? This kid is not willing to talk. My mom is pinching me in the bum from behind, like all Parsi moms do. She pinched me and said, why didn't you speak? I said, Mom, you know, they'll think that something's wrong with me. As it is, the neighbor's mom calls me Bichara. Think about it. Bichara. 10 days later, Father Molyneux calls up my mom. And he tells my mother, Mrs. Irani, we are educationists. Which child doesn't know what a horse is? Come on. Which child doesn't know what a mouse is? Of course he knows. It's just that he's anxious. Send him to St. Mary's School and we'll give him admission. And he took me in. Now the point I'm trying to make by telling you this story is that we're too quick to judge people. We're too quick to judge people, especially in this Instagram age. We are speaking venomously of people we've never met. And I'm talking about talent. Talent, I mean, in the workplace, you know, on a set, sometimes you might turn around and say, this guy may be the best actor. Just nurture people. What happened was, I was dyslexic, I was dyscalculic, attention deficiency syndrome 2. Dyscalculic, I still don't know numbers. I'm not joking. I really don't know numbers. There's something called the OTP. Do you know how anxious I get? One time something, what's it called? You don't know what an OTP is? One time password. So you book something, you got to give a one time password. There's a 4. Ma'am, which part of the world you come from? Look, if it's Greenland, I'll understand. If it's Greenland, don't worry, Trump is on his way there. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And I'll tell you something, I couldn't for the life of me remember a number, a series of numbers. I was shooting with Shah Rukh Khan for Dawn, and I had the code name for some locker, right? And I'm the Shah Rukh Khan, hey, Vardhan, you know, give me this, the number of the locker, and I say, Vardhan, lekin mujhe 50-50 and all that long spiel. And uska number is 3825, the assistant director. So it's not 3825. I said, I don't care. मैंने पूरा डायलॉग बोला नंबर नहीं बोल सकता मैं अगेन आई सेड सो वर्धान लॉकर का नंबर है 1298 so it's wrong Farhan said I tell you what Boman whichever take you feel is the good take tell me then we'll put the locker number on the locker in the other direction I don't remember numbers can you imagine what the state of my mother was to know that this kid is supposed to grow up for this widowed woman with 3 children and turn her world around. It's not happening. I don't remember my room number in the hotel. Believe me, I go to the wrong room sometimes. Knock, knock. Sometimes I do it on purpose, but we'll talk about it some other time. Bhumi's looking at me, Sala, nalayak aadmi. Huh? The point I'm trying to make is that it made matters worse for a little kid who did not know how to speak and thought and was told that dyslexia, the scientific term for dyslexia was duffer back in the day. It's a duffer, eh? People used to talk like that. Anyway, I was school annual day. School annual day. I'm going on stage for a specific reason. I'll use the stage well. I'm standing here in a choir with a big red paper bow. Big bow, okay, rouge, lipstick, and I'm standing there and I'm singing. And my mother's sitting somewhere there, not you, Lakshmi. My mother's sitting somewhere there, right? And she's beaming away. She's smiling away. And I'm looking at her, I'm wondering what's wrong. And after the show, when we were in the taxi, I asked my mom, Mom, why were you smiling so much? She said, Beta, because for the first time in your life, you were smiling. Can you imagine the anxiety of a parent worried about their kids? You know, we all have kids and we worry, bas, mere jitna smart banega bas hai. You know, we've all thought about that, right? But this is the truth of the matter because we don't know what's going to become of us. Or for parents to know what's going to happen to this kid who doesn't speak, who doesn't know numbers, whose results are terrible. But she discovered something that day. She discovered that I'd found my nursery. I was a tiger on stage. And she did everything in her capacity to make sure that I keep going on stage because she realized I'm happy on stage. What does this tell you guys? We've got to encourage our kids to do what they love to do, not what you, thank you very much, not what you want them to do, right? Come on, lot of energy, lao, yaar. Amazing. And she sent me for speech therapy. She sent me for all kinds of things. She sent me to a speech therapist called Alu Hirjibed, and she put marbles in my mouth and made me speak like Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. I used to swallow those stupid marbles, but I spoke clearly, as you can see right now. Right? I passed 10th standard. You can cheer for me. With a pretty high 3rd class, huh? Well, you'll laugh. Good. And what's happening in the meantime? What's happening to this kid is I am going to the theater. I'm going for concerts. I am singing on stage as an 11-year-old. And I'm going to the cinema every single day thanks to my mom. We had a cinema across the road, literally from here till that light. It was called the Alexander Cinema, my own Cinema Paradiso. And my mom used to say, go watch a movie. I said, I watched that yesterday. What did you see? Piazza. Go watch it again. Why again? Saying, go and understand what cinema is, because that's where I think you're going to end up someday, son. She said that to me as an 11-year-old. I get tears in my eyes when I think of her vision. She had 67,000 rupees in debt when my father died because of hospital bills and everybody was coming in demanding money. You know, people said, please, that person doesn't, you don't owe that person money. She said, I don't care. They've asked for the money, I'll pay the money because someday we will pay it all off. And when we'll be moving around in a nice car and I'll take my children out for dinners and for movies, nobody can point a finger at me. Wow, what a woman, right? Anyway, I used to go and watch movies 30, 40 times. There was a film called Funny Girl, Barbara Streisand's film, at the Strand Cinema, just down the road from here, all right? And the opening shot is Barbara Streisand walks into the screen, on the stage, rather the screen, and that's the New Amsterdam Theater. So you'll remember for me, you know, I told you I'm dyslexic. You'll remember for me, sir? Yeah, the New Amsterdam Theater in Broadway, New York. And she stands over there, but she doesn't go in the main entrance. She goes around this way. She goes behind, and she goes from a small little door. It's called the artist's entrance, the stage door. And I just felt, that's so beautiful. The doorman used to ask me, "Tu kal bhi aaya tha?" "Haan." "Tere ko picture samajh mein aata?" "Bola nahi." "Tu kyun aaja roj?" I don't know what drew me to that film. Anyway, I was a little kid telling stories at the wafer shop. We had a little wafer shop at Grant Road. And there was a man, Dad's friend, Farooq uncle, used to come and meet Mom and ask questions of how things are going and whatnot. And then he asked, what's running at the novelty cinema? Now, novelty cinema, this is our bhatti wall. This is our bhatti wall. This is the back wall of novelty cinema where the screen is. If you stuck your ear to that wall, you could hear the vibration, sometimes the loud dialogues and sometimes the music. Can you imagine? And he asked, which movie is running? And I squeaked out, El Cid. El Cid? Yeah. 9 a.m. reduced rates, red rates. Have you seen it? Yeah. And the old man says, I wish I could. So Mom says, Boman will take you, 11-year-old kid, assigned to take a 75-year-old man to the cinema. And I held his hand and his walking stick, and we went and watched the movie together. And I'm describing the movie as it's playing in front of us. This is like going to the park for me. This is like going to Disneyland for me. And I'm standing there and I'm watching the screen saying, El Cid is now dead. He's got an arrow in his chest. They've strapped him. They've put him on the horse. They make sure that he doesn't fall off. The army is waiting outside. They don't know he's dead. I'm telling Farooq uncle in his ear all this. All right? They don't know he's dead. And now somebody slaps the horse. And the horse runs through the army. Right? And the army follows him because if they know that he's dead. I'm saying this, making it up as it goes on. And then the horse runs into the sea and the army goes and defeats the Moors. You know why this story is special for me and why I felt empowered and why I find this extremely special was because a little kid of 11 years old was assigned and given the empowerment to tell a blind man a story. He was blind. And my mom thought I would be good enough to tell him that story. You know what that feels to a kid who people call duffer? It's so beautiful, right? Come, let's see some energy, man. Do I have to keep... See, you're the only guy who's doing it on time. These are not listening. I thought you were laughing away. Huh? These are all top shots. You know, this first class, business class. Economy is also like business class. I thought hasne ka nahi. I decided that I could not do any science, medicine, whatnot, and all the fancy things you guys do. I'm going to be a waiter. And I went to my granny. Now, my grandmother, my dadi, came from Iran. She was a refugee. I realized that today, what a refugee means, because I just thought I was born and put in her lap, and I used to play with her. My dadi came from Nasrabad in Iran on a donkey across the desert, stayed in a tent, took a sailboat, came to India from Khorramshahr. Can you imagine? This is not a story from the Bible, sir. These are my grandparents who have met. My dad is dying, 1-year-old. And she's asking my grandson, she said, what do I do with the little K? What do I do, you know, if he dies? These are the people. People ask me when I land, how was the flight? How was the flight? Flight was great. I came business class. What are you talking about? How's your hotel? I'm staying in a goddamn suite at the Taj. Why are you asking me these questions? Did anybody ask my grandmother this question? Before you start grumbling in this planet, remember where we came from. Whether we came from money or we came from our grandparents who have had nothing. Don't spend your life grumbling. Don't spend your life. We will grow in life. We will move ahead in life. You're already way ahead in life according to what you told me. These guys are all falling out of their pockets. You told me that, right? Yeah? So you've already made it, fellas. But I'll tell you, we will keep growing. And I make an analogy of promotion or growth in life with clothes. If you walk around in a pajama, your attitude is pajama-like, right? Nobody walks stylishly in a pajama, right? No, right? If you're walking in a pair of jeans, there's a certain swag. Just like a promotion. Just like an upgrade in our status. And the day you wear your first suit, guys especially, something happens, like something is stuck up your backside, right? And everybody walks like this. Why? The suit makes you do things. The job will give you an attitude. You've got to be very careful, especially in the film business. Youngsters who've done half of film, I've got an entourage of 12 people screaming, hey, what for? Take it easy. Craft, work, what happened to that? You know? So, my granny said, you want to be a waiter? Be a waiter, but be the best in the world, right? That's the promise, sir. Also, associate yourself with the best. Right? Where would I go for my first interview as a waiter? Yes. Yeah, Taj. रातोट किधर गया मेन डायलॉग के टाइम पे? अरे यार. And downstairs, as we enter the palace wing, there was a flower shop called Oriental Florist. And I knew the old man there, and he introduced me to a gentleman called Sam Bhada for my interview. Go to the best. I go to any other hotel and I say, go to the best. Taj, Marriott वाले देखते हैं यार. हम लोग ने इतना अच्छा रूम दिया, upgrade किया आपको, तो बोलते Taj best. तुम लोग था नहीं उस वक्त यार. Nevertheless, I go for my first interview, and the gentleman who interviewed me, you remember for me, sir? Sam Bhada. Sam. Parsi. Parsi equal to Khadus. Huh? And I go up to him, bow tie. I practice the whole night. अच्छे style में बात करूँगा मैं. And sir, you're that wafer wala? I said, yeah. Think about it, man. That bloody wafer wala. Okay. Which department do you want to join? I'd like to join food and beverage. He's saying, idiot, drop the accent. I said, sir, drop the accent. Be yourself. That's a lesson. In whatever you do, you don't have to impress anybody. You just got to be yourself, and that's impressive enough. I learned in every single line that someone has ever, in fact, reprimanded me, I've learned my biggest lessons. And I said, okay, which department? Food and beverage, sir. Idiot, the whole hotel business is about food and beverage. मेरा तो कचरा हो रहा था उधर. Which department? I said, sir, the rendezvous. He looked up. Oh, that's good. I'm impressed. I impressed him. I reversed it. Rendezvous. The French restaurant. रातोट किधर है? तू था क्या ना rendezvous का टाइम पे? रातोट. अरे, see, this is what Taj is all about. मेरा espresso वहाँ ठंडा हो गया. My darling रातोट. Give him a big hand, man. Give him a big hand. कैसे आप? And rendezvous. He said, rendezvous. Rendezvous पहले इधर सामने था. फिर टेरेस पे गया. अभी उन लोग ने क्या किया? उसका कुछ बैंक्वेट बनाया ऐसा मीटिंग्स के लिए. I'm pulling your leg. French restaurant. He says, I am impressed. And he taught me a new word that day. A big English word. I don't think even Shashi Tharoor has heard that word before. That big. I'm not joking, sir. Sir, I'm not joking. You know what the word was? Can anybody guess? Not sesquipedalian or some crap like that. The word was want. You want something, and that's good. If you don't want anything, you have no story to tell, he told me. Sam Bhada. Yaad rakhna, sir. Huh? I said, wow. He said, when can you start? I said, now. I'm even more impressed. You enthusiastic. You want to do something. Yeah, let's go. Right, so go to the rendezvous. The most expensive restaurant in India. Okay, take that lift and go to the basement. So, you think I'm going to send you straight up, he said. You really thought, you damn fool, I'm going to send you straight up. I said, no, of course you thought that. All right, khayega. Go and pay your bloody dues, young man. There are no silver bullets, there are no magic bullets. Go pay your dues. And I went to the basement. I went to the basement to room service. On the way was the Chinese restaurant ka lift. इधर रुकता था. सब मेरे को याद है सर. सब याद है. मेरे को आँख में आंसू आता है सर. आओ ना बाहर आके खड़े रहो ना. Everybody give them a big hand. आप पूरा मेरा स्पीच सुनेंगे? पूरा सुनेंगे? प्लीज बैठिए. No, I insist. आज आप मेरा गेस्ट है. Please बैठिए. Come on, यार. Let's break some law. Everybody, welcome them. Please sit down. Come on. So please, so please. बहुत सीखा है आप लोगों से, बहुत सीखा है. And I went to the basement. They gave me one pichkari in my hand. So he knows what he thinks I have something else on. Some dirty thought came to your mind. No. We started laughing. Again, pichkari. I started squishing plates. They put me in the linen cupboard, in the linen room. So I गिर रहा था and fold the napkins. Learn how to fold napkins. Then I did room service. Room service. I picked up a lot of tips. Put them in a little pink piggy bank. And then finally I reached rendezvous. 2 years it took. But in life, we have to have wants. I want to do this. #want. And then you have the big want. But that might take years. But till then, you've got many wants to get there. You've got to jump over many wants to get there. And there I was at the rendezvous, ठोकावें the menu in French. पहले से actor ही था मैं. What would you like, sir? Why don't you try the rendezvous de fruits de mer, la crème de basilic, style de zofran? Very good. इतना impressed लोग होते थे मेरे से. My mom called up and said, you have to come home. Why? I met with an accident. I said, what happened? I've broken a rib. You'll have to sit at the shop. And I had to start sitting at the shop, at the wafer shop. And for 14 years, I was a wafer wala. 14 years. Now, people started calling me Boman Seth. Bichara Boman became Boman Seth for doing nothing on his own. No want, but just landed. In some parts of our world, they call it nepotism. But that was it. I didn't understand. But I worked very hard. I started working pretty hard. I was frying wafers in a big bhatti, in a big kadai like this. Chucking it in there. There was no need to chuck it so high in there just to impress people. Zinobay used to come. Ooh, wow. Who used to come in a ganji. It was pretty good. I got married at the age of 25. And before I turned 26, I became a dad. What the hell was that, sir? Amit, sir, what was that? What did I say? Sir, what did I say, sir? I got married at the age, no, sir, no. I got married at the age of 25. Before I turned 26, I became a dad. You know what he did? I started calculating. मेरा कचरा कर रहा है एकदम. A legal Parsi बच्चा था. He's saying कि January 28 पे भी शादी किया. हाँ नहीं November तक आया होगा बच्चा. Legal. हाँ मेरा कचरा नहीं किया उसने. Can I digress? How much time do I have still? From 2.5 hours? Time is running fast here. Ready? चलेगा? हाँ, you all enjoy, no? कौन है? Organizers कौन है? सुबिंदु. So आप बैठो, मैं मेरा करता है. And it was beautiful. It was great. Everybody here knows who a Parsi is? No. You're going to name me a Parsi.
My wife is a half Parsi.
Oh, are you in trouble, sir? But I suppose she is the most famous Parsi, you know. Now, can we really have some famous Parsis' names, please? Ratan Tata, no, Boman Irani last में आता है. Ratan Tata. Jahangir. The way you pointed out there, Jahangir press में भाग गए. Jahangir किधर है? अच्छा. Freddie Mercury, yeah. Then nobody knows any other Parsis in this room. I'm ashamed. Are sir, world famous. Sam Manekshaw, Field Marshal. Thank you, sir. सर आप मेरे को हंसे थे, मेरे को मालूम है, मेरे को सब कुछ याद रहता है. J.N. टाटा जो बिल्डिंग बनाया है ये, शाहपुर जी पालन जी, वेरी गुड. दिल से आपने, यू आर मैरिड सर? Oh, thank God, sir. Zubin Mehta, yeah, Soli Sorab ji, right? What? Nani Palki wala abhi aa raha hai, sir, abhi aa raha hai. You know, Parsis have contributed greatly to this country. You know, I must say. They've contributed greatly to this country. One more Parsi, King Charles. Parsi है वो. अब देखो बात कैसे करता है लंबे नाक के साथ. वो Parsi है. Nestle Wadia sir. हुआ तो. नहीं वो Parsi नहीं. हाँ Parsi है. अभी इस पार से अधिक गोदरेज चलेगा, बहुत हो गया अभी. But Lakshmi, there are only 67,000 Parsis left on the planet. And declining. See, she knows everything. 67,000 Parsis left on the planet and declining. Thank you, Lakshmi. And all the, I'm digressing a little bit. Chalega na? मैं बोलता हूँ ना, 67,000 Parsis left on the planet, and all the seniors of the Parsi, the Dasturjis, the priests, from the Panchayat, they all come to me. What happened? Sir, kuch karo na. मैं क्या करूं? I swear, just look at me. Am I in charge of multiplying the population? Do I look like a bloody rabbit? No. And say, no, we are not saying encourage. मैं क्या encourage कर सकता? I can't go on the honeymoon and supervise what to do, right? What the hell, man? Anyway, so what happened at the wafer shop was things were good, but stagnated. I was not doing anything for my want. Also, I had got something without me working hard for it. Plus, I did not have money of my own. In the 7 years since then, I had never taken my family out for a holiday. Not outside the city limits. 2 kids, wife, we'll talk about her later. I promise you we'll talk about it. You want to know a little more about my wife, right? I'll talk about it later. I broke the piggy bank, Tajwala piggy bank. And I bought myself a camera. Something is another want. I wanted to do photography and I loved sports. So I started doing sports photography for school events. Annual school sports day, cycle races, basketball, football, hockey, you name it. I was really, really good at it. I became an expert at sports photography, selling pictures at 20 rupees. I collected a certain amount of money, and then I picked up a nice sounding hotel in Ooty called the Shawham Palace. We went by train, the Udyan. We went by ST bus. We took a rickshaw, went up a hill, and there it was, Shawham Palace. And we were standing there, holding hands, 4 of us, my wife, in the rickshaw. We dropped out, the bags are there. We're holding hands, looking at the hotel. It looked like a photograph from a movie poster. Yeah. Only the movie was a Ramsay horror film. It was like a bloody bhoot bangla. Literally, you could see bats flying around the bloody turrets over there, right? And my wife, Zenobia, she looks at me like that. When the wife is angry, they don't speak. They just expressions. I said, darling, actor, na, मेरा दिमाग actor का सब भागता है ना. Darling, it's a heritage building. Outside they don't touch. They are not allowed to touch it. Come inside, it'll be better. We went inside, it was bloody worse. We went inside those doors, with louvers, with the tea cuddy. दरवाजा खुला भी sound effect के साथ, Ramsay style. We went inside, chilly. I told that guy, it's completely pitch dark. I said, please turn on the light. He goes inside, turns on one light. It was still pitch dark. Still pitch dark. You know why? One bulb came on. One. It was 0 watt bulb. 0. And I'm saying, is this what we work for? Is this what we are trying to do for our wife and children and our families? What are we doing all this for? Please tell me. Either you're so narcissistic that you're only doing it for the numbers, like 1 hour, 40 minutes of the briefing, now he's on the phone. Yeah. Right? And I started crying. And Zenobia said, you tried. No, but that's not good enough. My life was that 0 watt bulb. And I said, I have got to up my game. I want something bigger. And then you start upping your game. I want. And I looked up the calendar, and the biggest sporting event was, of course, cricket, which came once or twice a year. The next biggest thing was the World Cup of boxing. I said, I want to be the official photographer of the World Cup. You got to set yourself the goal, right? We've all done it. Right? We've all done it. You set yourself a goal. And I went to another Parsi, his name was Aspi Adajania, another Karus. And he looks up at me, hey, you're that wafer wala. Oh. Hey, what the hell is going on, man? And he looks at me and he says, show me your photographs. So he goes through all my photographs, very nice, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We don't need you. What? We don't need you. I said, sir, give me a badge. Even if you don't want to hire me, I'll take pictures and I'll sell the pictures. Sorry. As I was about to leave, he calls me back again. He said, come here. You're that wafer wala, right? I said, yes, sir. Now the line of questioning is unbelievable. It's got everything to do with photography. The first question, where do you buy your potatoes? I thought he wanted wholesale mein, mere ko ek thaili mein lage laega, uske liye tum mere ko. I said from the potato and onion market in New Bombay. Acha, very good. Onion and potato market, New Bombay. What do you know about potatoes? I said everything. Really? What do you know about potatoes? I said, I can tell you from the mitti, from just feeling it, which area it came from, which field, GPS style. I can pinpoint the bloody field. I'm from Hassan, Metupalayam, Talegaon, Vatti, Shimla. Wow. I said, I can shove my thumb into the potato and tell you after how many days you should fry the goddamn thing. I can tell you from the skin. Wow. He was so impressed. He's saying, I'm too impressed with you. मैं BA किया है. मैंने PhD किया है potatoes में. Okay. Next question. You'll never guess. If anyone guesses, I'll give you anything. The next question he asked me was, what do you know about onions? Can you imagine? And I'm feeling a little demeaned over there. I said, never mind. Let him have fun. Let him have fun, the old man. I said, I know nothing about onions. Guess what he told me? Exactly. Exactly. I don't know where he was going with this, but he was very annoying. He said, look at your pictures. You've got football, you've got hockey, you've got cycle races, you've got high jump, you've got long jump, you've got 400 meters, you've got hurdles, you've got everything, but there's not a single picture of boxing, sir. And you have some chick to walk into my studio, in my office, and tell me you want to be the official photographer of the World Cup of boxing? You know nothing. Man! It was like a silver diamond bullet that hit me over here. And he was absolutely right. And you know what he said? You know English? I said, yes, I know English, sir. He says, you know, there's a wonderful phrase in English. I said, what's that phrase? Know your bloody onions. Think about it. Amazing, huh? Wow. I picked up my camera. My camera, I called Alfred. I used to talk to Alfred. Let's call it my conscience. And I used to encourage my camera to take good pictures, and my camera used to encourage me to work hard. We do that to ourselves. Come on, man, don't we do that? But I should talk to Alfred. And I went to the university stadium where there was a boxing tournament going on, the worst boxing in the world, with thin guys with knobbly knees, you know. I said, yaar, mera kuch hone wala nahi hai in log ke saath. I want international looking pictures. And I saw that it was in a hut. It was in a hut, literally, with one dirty looking ring and one lamp on top of it. I said, how am I going to get great looking pictures? And I was about to walk out. And I said, no. Alfred told me, come back. This is your lot. This is your resource. Don't grumble about it. You're not going to get anything better than this. Either you walk out and you get nothing, or you stretch your resource to its maximum and try and get one dramatic picture. Something you can say, okay, this looks great. But if you walk out, the game is over. We spend too much of our time, sales teams, sometimes spend too much of the time grumbling about this guy's got the big city, that's why he's got this number. This guy got, his father is connected. This guy's father is a producer, so he became an actor. Stop grumbling, man, I tell everybody. Stop grumbling. And I started taking pictures. I cased the joint. I said, idhar se liya, udhar se liya, idhar se liya, upar tarafe pe gaya, upar se top shot le raha. With that one lamp. And believe me, they work even better than flat lighting with floodlight pictures. Drama happened for me. And I took 6 or 7 pictures after 7 or 8 days. And I went back to Aspiyata Janya. Let me use the props. Actor, na props use karta. So, he took the envelope, he put it in the drawer. Just shut the drawer. What the hell? He opened another drawer, he took out another envelope and he gave it to me, a small one. You have been appointed official photographer of the World Cup. Think about it, guys. Why did I get the job? I asked him the question that you would ask. But sir, you've not even seen the pictures. Guess what he said? I didn't have to. I saw it in your eyes, he said, Boman. I could see it. I could feel your fire in your belly. That's all it bloody takes. 19-20 का तो फर्क होता है एक प्रोडक्ट का. Quality में, features में, up down तो होते रहता है. But it's the guy who's selling the goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? He's the man who's doing, he or she is the person who's doing it. And he says, you're going to take some fantastic pictures, he told me. I'll never forget that man. He became my friend. He encouraged me, introduced me to the Norwegian coach, saying they are the only sponsored team. And the boxer, there's only one boxer called Ola Clemetson. They want photographs. Go, ja, Boman, ja, Bomzi. He started calling me Bomzi from now on. Bomzi, go. And I went and met the guy. Saying, we want 3 pictures. Okay, 1, action picture. 2, the German will be on the floor, knockout. And 3, with the Indian and Norwegian flag. We have to send it to a magazine called Vigi. So yaad rakhega. Vigi. Such a nice man. Yeah. Right? Comes the day of the fight. I didn't know how much to charge. I'm not a good businessman. He'll tell you. I'm not a good businessman. So they asked me, what do I say? So how much will you charge? That guy selling. So मैं क्या बोलूँ? मैं 20 रुपया बोलूँ, 50 बोलूँ, 100 बोलूँ. I don't want to be called out as an amateur. So how much will you charge? So I gave him the best answer in the world. So international rates, whatever, you know. I'm saying, yeah, it's so true. It's an honest answer. You pay me what you pay anybody else. All right. Okay. Comes the day of the fight. I found out, now these numbers I remember, that I could be paid $60 a picture. $60. 60 into 3, 180. And if it's a really good magazine, which I believe Vigi was, I would be paid $100 a picture. 100 into 3, 300. Chalo, yaar. Arrived. And I'm standing by the ring. And all the other world photographers came. With big bazooka lenses and light meter and tripods and this hanging here and that hanging here. Matlab, मैं और Alfred. मेरा क्या होगा? And I'm talking to Alfred, look at all those, that equipment, it's got motor drive. It just goes like 5 frames a second and I'm with my thumb, I'm winding you. कैसे होगा? I closed my eyes and I spoke to Alfred. And Alfred, अभी तक तू मेरी वजह से ही इधर तक पहुंचा है. चुपचाप viewfinder में देख and concentrate. I said, okay. And then I could see my $300 fly away like this. You know why? Because the German, not my boxer, was getting my boxer's ass kicked. Talk. I say, yaar, who's going to take a guy who's getting beaten up pictures? Kaun wo 25 rupiya bhi nahi dega wo. And I'm saying, nahi yaar. Again, I said, Alfred! Alfred says, focus. Focus, buddy. Look into my viewfinder. It's like an opportunity. An opportunity is like a shutter of a camera. That door will open and close, and you'll not even notice it. But if you're going to sit around grumbling, the shutter will open, close, and that opportunity will go and never come back. Anna? What an audience we have today. He's also clapping. And I'm saying, I just kept on looking. Focus. And the Norwegian, Ola Clemetson, बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा ना याद रखने के लिए नहीं लिख लो ना सर इतना पैड वैड काय को दिए ले कितना सिलेबस के बाहर है बोलता है सर आप बहुत सुना था आपके बारे में, बोला वो ग्रे सूट में जो आगे बैठा है ना, उसकी क्लास है. And tack, he landed one. Like Amitabh Bachchan in Amar Akbar Anthony. देखा ना? भाई एक मारा लेकिन solid मारा. And he said, tack, the German on this thing. He's dancing, got the second shot. He pulled out the flags. I took the third shot. Done. Imagine if I was grumbling like we do for the rest of our lives. We just grumble only. We're going to grumble for the rest of our lives. Yeah, come on, man. What's your name, ma'am? Didi, you're the best audience member I've ever had here. सुन देख ऐसा होना, तेरे फोन पे से उतर जा, OTP आ रहा है उसका. Sir, you cracked a very good joke, but focus on the names I've given you, sir. लिख लो, sir. He's actually writing it down. And so I got those pictures, I sent them to Norway, and bloody hell, at that time there was no, I had to send it to radio photo or something. There was no email and whatever the new technology was. VSNL पे radio photo ऐसा drum के ऊपर scan करके भेजना पड़ता, 3 घंटा एक photograph के लिए. 4 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from a guy called Trigus Sandabo. Why would I remember these names? Don't ask me. Mr. Irani, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes? My name is Trigus Sandabo. I'm doing an awful Norwegian accent, but it's okay. Just for authenticity. Trigus Sandabo says, we have received the photographs. I said, yeah, good. First, commitment. Pura karo. And 2, they are fantastic. Now 3. So how much will you charge? I said, sir, मैं बोला ना, sir. I went, yeah, okay. So he put the phone down, he went, walked around. Zenobia comes in her nightie. Oh, what? I said, मेरे को थोड़ी मालूम ना, रुको यार, मैं बोला, मेरे को थोड़ी मालूम. Zenobia is like that. Mr. Irani, yeah. We love the photographs. I'm calculating $180, yeah, $300. For 3 photographs, we give you $300. So I start doing Ramba Samba. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, my wife is here, Zenobia. Hey, baby. Tana, tana, pop, 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 pop. Tana, tana, tana. I'm doing all this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my wife, Zenobia. Thank you for having her. Zenobia, these are the most moneyed people in the world. But they've allowed us a seat here. Actually, you should be sitting in the first row. You know that? So, and then he comes and says, Mr. Irani, so thank you very much. Please go and collect your $900. Mic drop. Zenobia is twirling my hand is here only. Mr. Irani. Mr. Irani. You're not happy? I said, sir, I'm very happy. I got $900. 900. 1 week later. So I told you I don't remember numbers. ये याद करता हूँ, कसम से I don't remember the year, but this is 35 years ago at least. 35, 37 years, 38 years. I'm really not good at numbers. First number I got right, 30. 9, arey sir. Anyway, Zenobia calls me and says, there's a check from, I said, नहीं, check भर लिए ला, आ गया, नहीं, हो गया, ये गलती है, mistake है. I go home, I said, दिखा ना check. Dollar में ऐसा, folder के साथ होता ना. What am I teaching you all about what? ऐसा देखता हूँ, ओए, $900, dollar का sign. For reprinting your photographs. What? फिर से बोल. मैं ही बोल रहा हूँ, फिर से बोल. For reprinting your photographs. They used the photographs a second time. And they thought the thing to do was to send me $900 again. Think about it, man. And then They sent me another $900. Every bloody week, $900 were coming in. What the hell is going on? I don't have an explanation as to how my life turned around at that point of time. But I can only say this. I concentrated on my weaknesses in that period. I concentrated on my faults. And I think it's important that, while we are so excited to move ahead in life, we somehow put all our failings, our flaws, and sometimes even fatal flaws on the back burner. And then I decided to start a studio. I said, yeah. I took a loan attached to that money that kept coming in. I blew some off and then started a studio. It was not a good idea. I took a loan, private loan. And the rates can be really ridiculous, right? And then there was a pandemic lockdown for 2 years. Do you remember this 37 years ago? No, you won't. I'll tell you why. Because it was not a global pandemic. It was a Boman Irani pandemic. Nobody walked into my studio for 2 years. It's like we were in the lockdown and nobody entered our house or our office for 2 years. Literally. You know why? Because in the golden words of Sam Bhara, whose office was just down here. Imagine. In the Taj. I hadn't paid my dues as an advertising commercial photographer. Just because someone is paying me $900 doesn't mean that the ad agencies are going to pay me money. You got to pay your dues. You got to start from scratch all over again. You got to go into the basement. And I started practicing and practicing and practicing. I'd take a mug of coffee, put it on the table and do all kinds of lighting. Just keep shooting, keep shooting. Call people in, shoot faces. This kind of light, Rembrandt lighting, backlighting, whatever. In the lockdown, what were we doing? Grumbling and watching Netflix. But we should have been sharpening our skills. Most of us must have in this room, I'm quite sure. And then one fine day, I get a call from Pradeep Guha. Sushmita Sen won Miss World, Miss Universe. And I was called to go and take a picture of Sushmita Sen. She won Miss Universe, I became Mr. India. And then Shamak Davar walks into my life. You know Shamak Davar? Another Parsi, right? Prince Charles bola nahi, tum log naak dekho barabar. And he walks into my studio. Dar gaya usse. You're going to be very famous. I said, really? Doing what? Photographs? I don't know. He's psychic. And I kind of tried to figure what he was trying to say. Anyway, he disappeared for 7-8 months. And he calls up and says, Zenobia, I have got to tell you a story. I'm going to go back. Sorry. I skipped a story. But now that I saw her face, I must tell you this. When I was going through that pandemic, those 2 years of no work, I was paying interest upon interest. I couldn't pay interest, and then interest be jammed onto the capital, and again I was paying interest upon that. No money. Sorry? Oh, I didn't say it. And I'm saying, now what do I do? I couldn't pay for my rice plate. I couldn't pay my scooter. I couldn't put petrol in the scooter. When petrol used to run out, I used to hop off the scooter and drag the scooter home. Somebody on the road would shout, "Hey, bhai sahab, udhar mat ja, udhar petrol pump nahi, petrol pump udhar hai." What do I tell them, man? What do I go to the petrol pump and do? Petrol hai, full tank hai. Carburetor mein kachra hai. One day I went home. And it's nice to be truthful to audiences. Always give a part of yourself to the audience. This is what I learned as an actor. And Zenobia comes to me with a blue velvet box and gives it to me. I said, "What's this?" She said, "Open it." I opened it. It was a jewelry set of her wedding. I said, "Why are you giving this to me?" And go sell it. Sell it? I said, "Don't do this to me." I said, "Just go sell it and pay off the loan. Don't do this to yourself." I said, "Zenobia, don't do this to me." And I started crying. Come on, it's. She said, "First of all, where the hell are we going?" कहाँ जा रहे हैं हम लोग? We're going nowhere. We're not dressing up to go anywhere. Where am I wearing this set and going? Tell me. And two, you think by wearing this set, she said, will I look pretty? No, of course not. Look at your face. All you've ever done is make people laugh. You've got such wonderful energy. You're smiling, you're joking, you're jumping around, you're bringing energy in the room. But you've stopped smiling, you damn fool, she said. Smile. Sell the jewelry, pay off a loan, chase your dream, complete your want, and then smile. And when you smile, I'll smile. And when I smile, I might look pretty, she said. These things are important. These things are important. Because always there's an act of faith and an act of courage that jumps into our being. And we have to be honest about it. You can't hide from that. Most of us must have been through the 0-watt bulb moment in our lives when he said, what the hell are we doing with ourselves? And most of us must have been through this moment when he said, what am I going to feed the kids in the morning? Right? And then Shushmita Sen came. Then I was assigned to photograph all the Miss Indias. Diana Hayden won Miss World. I became Mr. India. Shamak came. Shamak said, you're going to be very famous. Shamak disappeared. 8 months later, he comes and says, I'm taking you for lunch. Free lunch. Chalo. And he didn't take me for lunch. He took me to meet Alec Padamsi. And I said, why are you taking me there? I need a little sip of this. I said, why are you taking me there? He said, I wanted to audition for a play. The moment I said audition, everybody said, oh, we are nearing the end. I'll go on, no? So you're the sweetest man I've ever met. And I said, I don't want to audition. I'm not an actor. He said, hey, don't lie. I know you want to be an actor. I can feel it in my bones. You know it in your bones. Every hair on your hand tells me that you want to be an actor. Don't lie to me and don't lie to yourself. Come on. And I auditioned. And Alec Padamsi gave me a part, 3-minute part. 3-minute role. And my first role, ladies and gentlemen, please applaud when I tell you what I did for my first role. The first role I ever got was that of a pimp. Yeah, baby. And everybody said, don't do it. It's a 3-minute role. And you know what? It's too small. And I'm quoting people. I started quoting suddenly. Laurence Olivier said, there are no small parts, only small actors. Kya baat hai? Main to ekdam wo mode mein chale gaya. Suddenly I became an actor. Man mein. I'm rehearsing. Bruce Lee, yaad hai? His quote hit me. Somebody's been quoting it recently. He says, I do not fear the man who has 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who has one kick, but practices it 1,000 times. I am practicing away morning to night, and comes the night of the show. Guys, I got to get back on stage for this. Okay? I come to do my bit. Audience is dead. I said, no, I'm going to wake them up. I'm going to wake them up. Audiences are not going to, jump onto you unless you give them something. And the easiest thing to do is to blame an audience. At 3:30 in the evening, I told you, guys, I don't expect you all to be in the best mood. But come on, man, are we not awake now? Come on, everybody. I came on stage, I said, my team has worked too goddamn hard. I'm going to wake them up, not take the energy I'm getting from them, but I'm going to give them my energy. And I did my 3 minutes, and man, they erupted. And I got an ovation. And in the wings was standing Arshad Varsi, who was the choreographer. He had not started making movies then, okay? And he's looking at me, Boman, abhi bhara. Well, nahi, they're still clapping. It's something fantastic happened that day. What was that? Can anybody tell me something fantastic happened that day? Yeah, but I'll tell you. I came to the theater. I stood outside the theater. I looked at the people going in. I went this way. I went round. And I entered from the artist's entrance. And I came on stage, guys. And I love a stage. A wooden stage, the lights. the sound, and I love an audience. I love an audience, man. It's my duty to make an audience feel happy, right? That's what they're here for. And I perform. Next thing I know, people are coming backstage. Who's this guy? You're right. Who's this guy? Next play I did was a play called I'm Not Bajirao. I'm not Bajirao. I'm playing a 75. I must be 34, 35 years old. I'm playing a 75-year-old man with Sudhir Joshi, great Marathi actor, 75-year-old Maharashtrian. And we're sitting on a park bench talking for 2 hours. We rehearsed that play for 4 months. 4 months for the experimental. For a size this big of crowd, right? 3 shows only. But we are rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. And then someone came and watched a rehearsal. A very senior theatre person said, don't release it in the experimental theatre. Release it in the Tata, the 1200-seater. Saying, really? 2 old men talking on a park bench for 2 hours? That's an experimental play. They're talking about their glaucoma, about their arthritis, about their knees and their sex life. How exciting can that be? I mean, remember that? You'll have to remember that. That he'll not remember. Anyway. And we did the show, but we opened at the Tata. House full. I don't know how. House full. If you ask me to explain why it went house full that opening night, I do not have an answer. The only thing I can say is people smell quality miles away. They knew. No matter how much you can promote something, if it's not good, it's not going to run. You sometimes don't need the... People can tell the quality by the font and the colors scheme on your visiting card. This is my belief system. They know, इसमें कुछ है यार, कुछ quality है इसमें. Anyway, we did that show, 3 shows. No, sorry, I'm going to correct myself, not 3 shows. We played that show for 10 houseful years. So nothing is too small, my friends. Nothing is too small. It was a smash hit. I became an actor. Next role I got was of Gandhi. I go to Sudhir Joshi. I said, Dada, what is it? I'm getting to play Gandhi. Do it. Do it. Really? Of course. Which Gandhi? Which Gandhi? I said, Mahatma Gandhi. Tu pagal ho gaya? I thought you meant Frontier Gandhi. Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Gandhi ji. He's right. He was also some 6 feet 5 inches tall. And then he said, no, I'm pulling your leg. Another lesson that I'll never forget. He said, 30 kilos I lost. 30 kilos. You could see my ribs. Sab theek hai. You'll speak like him, you'll walk like him, you'll talk like him. Tu chal bhi karega, sab kuch karega. That's all external, Baba. That's all external. Remember, if you don't believe you are him, audience will never believe. It's a lesson I can continue with every single play, every single actor, every role that I do, and every single thing that even you do. If you don't believe in what you're selling, I mean, how the hell are you going to convince the samne wala, no? You have to have that deep belief, man. Deep belief. Thank you. You're the best audience member I've ever had, man. Your naam le lo. Now what happens? Ram Madhwani. We're almost at the end, huh? Ram Madhwani. Time up ho gaya mera. Koi baat nahi. Chalega na? Enjoy na? आज मेरी बीवी भी है यार उसके लिए. Calls and says, I want to do a movie with you. I said, पैसे बनने का time आ गया. Saying, no, it's an experimental movie. I said, मेरे नसीब में सब experimental ही होता है. कोई बात नहीं. So what we need to do is, we will write the movie together. We will rehearse it. We will shoot it. We will rehearse it. We will shoot it. We will write it. 1.5 years we are doing this. For an experimental film to be shot on a handy cam. Now, 23, 24 years ago, maybe more, 2000, no? 25 varas the gaya na, 20, that handy cam is 25, 30,000 times less beautiful than your iPhone. And we are going and doing this, and then finally we shot it in 7 days. A full-length feature film. And then I go up to Ram and said, Ram, when are we going to release it? He said, we were never going to release this movie. He said, what? He said, no, I never said we were going to release this movie. I was pulling his leg. He says, we made it for you, for me, for our family, for our family, for our friends, and to ease the passing of time. I said, I'm not 95 years old here. I'm not with my leg on some stool. He says, then why did we make this movie? He said, because our names are in the credits. And that'll be forever. Man, that hit me hard. Yeah. He was right. We did a premiere in his house. 11 of us attended. We gave it a standing ovation. We sent it to the National Awards also. I got nominated. They sent it back. You know why? Because it was on digital. Can you imagine? Now everything is shot on digital. Now I'm not going to sit and grumble about this. While this movie was being edited, there was a famous producer-director who was editing his film. We're almost there, huh? So, lo na, photo lo na, baba. Side se mat lo, pet nahi dikhna mangta, side se. Thank you. While it was being edited, he was doing a blockbuster on his monitor, and then our thing was being edited on another monitor over here, and he comes, yaar, ye ganda picture kaun sa hai? Ye actor kaun hai? Boman Parsi hai, haan, Hindi bolta hai? Malum nahi. Bhejo mere paas. I went to his house, he gave me a check of 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakhs. I said, what's this for? मेरी अगली पिक्चर के लिए. आपकी अगली पिक्चर कौन सी है? मेरे पास पिक्चर ही नहीं है. What kind of फिल्मी लोग थोड़ा ज़्यादा ड्रामेटिक होते हैं. मेरे पास कहानी ही नहीं है, मेरे पास पिक्चर ही नहीं है, मेरे पास. Why you give me 2 lakhs? He's saying, it blew my mind again. He's saying, because young man, if you start working in Hindi films, and when I come to you with a story, you will tell me you don't have dates because you'll be working non-stop for the next 20 years. Can you imagine? I said, really? Based on this movie called Let's Talk, which none of you have heard of and none of you have seen. He's saying it doesn't matter. If you're good, they'll come hunting for you to Siberia. Al Pacino bola tha. They'll come looking for you in Siberia if you're good. I said, really? He disappeared. 8 months later, he gives me a call and said, Yara, kahani mil gayi, yaar, kahani mil gayi, kamal ki kahani hai, yaar. I said, kahani ka naam kya hai? He said, Munna Bhai MBBS. Too long a clap because I hated the name. There is a shitty name, Munna Bhai MBBS. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? I said, कहानी क्या है? एक गुंडा है, वो गुंडा डॉक्टर बनना चाहता है. It sounds like a lousy story also. गुंडा डॉक्टर बनना चाहता है. मेरा रोल क्या है? तो डॉक्टर है. नहीं. They really think it's funny. It was funny, by the way. तो एक, where was I? हाँ, मेरा रोल क्या है? What? Say now. Is it the lady? You know him? He's your colleague.
Yeah, I was doubting whether he's seen the movie.
He hasn't seen the movie. Yeah. All these hecklers are the ones who. Where was I? See, overtime because of him and that. चलेगा ना? हाँ. से मेरा रोल क्या है? तू डॉक्टर है और पूरे पिक्चर में तू हंसते रहेगा. And I am saying, what the hell is this? My break into Hindi films, and this is the story. Munna Bhai MBBS, Gunda doctor बनना चाहता है. पूरे पिक्चर में I'm going to be laughing. It made no sense to me. He's saying, nah, I'm not doing a very nice job. I'm not doing a very nice job. Go and meet my assistant. I said, you're not making the film. Vidhu Vinod Chopra. I said, no, my assistant will make the film. He was not his assistant, he was the editor. But he called him his assistant. And he said, Raju. Oh God, now I'm going to meet some Raju. So I went and met Raju. I'm meeting this guy. And, he's looking at me. He's the same. 25 years later, 22 late, whatever the years is later, he's the same. Nervous. Hello, Boman ji. How? Thank you for doing our film. I'm not doing your film. What makes you think I'm doing? And he sat and narrated the story to me with such conviction. He was crying, he was laughing, he was on the floor, he's saying this, he's doing it, he's acting it out. I said, this is going to be a great, great movie. It's a beautiful story. You know, it's the conviction, the belief, as Sudhir Joshi said, you know, if you don't believe, how are they going to believe? And I'm saying to myself, that's a story. In screenwriting, we teach. By the way, I teach screenwriting, and I'll tell you a little more about it. You must give your protagonist an insurmountable goal. Only then will it be interesting, because the insurmountable goal will have insurmountable hurdles, and that's interesting to watch. Like a film called 12 Angry Men, right? Nobody believes that that kid is innocent, except one guy says, what if he's innocent? What if, even I think he's done it, but what if he is? We just can't not spend 5 minutes? And he convinces that entire room of 12 angry men that no, that boy is innocent. It was an insurmountable goal. The world is against you. Have you seen a film called Ratatouille? A rat. What do we do when a rat comes into the house? We poison it, we whack it on the head, we put a rat trap for it, we throw it in the bloody gutter. But this rat wants to go into the kitchen. Now, doesn't only want to go into the kitchen, he wants to be a world-class chef. And that's an insurmountable goal. And this is what I tell youngsters. You must have an insurmountable goal, and then only your story is worth telling. Your story should be like Ratatouille. Probably all of you all must have had that kind of thought when you all started out. That's why you all are here in this room today. Come on, give yourselves a big hand. We shot the film in record time and record budget. There was no money. Nobody backed it. We didn't charge for the film till the movie would have made money. Everybody worked for free. And we made the film in a record time, but we did not have money to do the last shot, which was a shadi ka shot, you know, flowers and adorned on the stage. And it was costing, I think, 1 lakh or something to do back in the day. And we said, but we can't afford it. So the art director said, acha, to kisi ke shadi mein get catch kar lo, yaar. Vinod Chopra said, arey, wonderful idea. So what? Let's do it, guys. If you really want the shot, let's do it. Believe it or not, guys, we are sitting behind the Shadi Ka Mandap. Sunil Dutt Saab, Sanjay Dutt, Arshad, Gracie, director, DOP, Binod Pradhan, Raju Irani, and we're all sitting hiding there. And then when all the guests left, we jumped on stage, we took the shot and ran away. Guerrilla style. This is how one of India's most beloved films was shot. People think it's wine and roses. It's not. It's not. Whenever you have a story that people find it insurmountable, they will not back you at first. They'll only back you when it becomes successful. They'll only back you when it becomes successful. Or back you means they'll say, yeah, good. Right? But the movie released in December and it flopped. It flopped. Nobody went to see it in opening nights. Nobody went over the first weekend. Why? Naturally not. Sanjay had 8 years, no hit. Arshad had not hit for 10 years. I was a newcomer. I was the only guy who was unknown. But they were known. And Munna Bhai MBBS did not attract anybody. I pulled down the shutter of the shop, went to Maratha Mandir. I'm standing over there in the theater and feeling, you know, what a beautiful movie, man. And I'm crying and I'm feeling so bad. I'm tears. And that guy doesn't even recognize me because I had hair on my head. And, I went outside to the parking lot. I said, I need to hear a voice. And I did hear a voice. And the voice came out. Hey, Mamu. Mamu, niche dekh. There was a lady sitting on the footpath. Very rough-looking lady in a sari. She put some money like this in her blouse. There. And she looked at me. She smiled at me. And I can't forget that face. I can't forget that face. Because she looked at me, she smiled, and my first fan, guys. You know what that feeling is? She did like this and said, Mamu, kya kamal ka acting kiya re? Oh my God, my first appreciation. And then she said something which was even more bizarre. She said, Mamu, बहुत पैसा कमाएंगे हम लोग. I said, बहुत पैसा कमाएंगे हम लोग. मतलब I couldn't understand what she was trying to say. I thought she was some distributor, producer, 7-8 flops, and she's on the road. She said, Mamu, मैं ब्लैक में टिकट बेचती हूँ, मेरे को सब मालूम है. हाँ, इसे ये पिक्चर बहुत चलेगी. सालों साल तक लोग प्यार करेंगे इस पिक्चर को, कभी भूलेंगे नहीं इस पिक्चर को. अच्छा, I called up Raju. Raju, हमारी फिल्म हिट हो गई. So, कौन बोला? ट्रेड गाइड बोला, तरन आदर्श बोला. I said, नहीं, ब्लैक में. तू पागल हो गया, ब्लैक मार्केटर की बात सुनता है तू. But believe it or not, the next day, word of mouth. You don't need the promotion if, है ना? And next 10 days later, 10 nominations. 10 days later, awards function. Night before the awards, Arshad Varsi comes up to me and says, what are you wearing tomorrow, man? I said, what am I wearing? Saying, you don't have a suit? I said, no, I'm a wafer wala, yaar. Kya suit? He's saying, no, you need a suit. He calls up Naresh Bhai of Masculine. Saying, Naresh Bhai, ek 24 घंटे में, this is 12 o'clock at night, huh? I want a suit. किसके लिए? Boman Irani. I don't know any Boman Irani. I said, thank God. Because the filmi log bahut, he's going to win. I said, I'm going to win? It's like, shut up, man. He said, कौन से पिक्चर के लिए? मुन्ना भाई. क्या रोल किया था? वो डॉक्टर. अरे वो टकला. मामू, अरे मैं उसका बड़ा फैन है, मैं सूट बनाएगा. मैं कल तक भेज देगा. I said, what about measurement? Saying, measurement के लिए टाइम नहीं. I said, I don't want the bloody suit. You please measure, give me a nice made to order tailored suit. He's saying, उसको फोन दो. Hello, Mamo, how are you? कल आ जाएगा सूट. I said, no, sir. तो आपका हाइट क्या है? अच्छा, हाइट से थोड़ी तुम सूट बना सकता है कि कॉलर सर पे रखेगा क्या इधर? He said, नहीं, don't worry, किसी को बोलना नहीं. मेरे पास मुन्ना भाई MBBS का DVD है. I said, so? He's saying, मेरे पास बहुत बड़ा TV. I said, so? He's saying, जब मैं प्ले करूंगा और आप फुल लेंथ में आके स्क्रीन पे आएंगे मैं पॉज करूंगा. मतलब आपका हाइट 6'2" है ना? हाँ, मैं टीवी पे जाके मेजर करेगा ऐसा. 6'2" is equivalent to 10 inches, suppose. उसका मैं रेशियो में करेगा. शोल्डर ले, पैंट लेंथ, सब कुछ. खाली मैं इधर थोड़ा लूज रखेगा क्योंकि मेरे पास 3D टीवी नहीं है. I said, okay. Next day, at the big awards at BKC, I'm standing under the stage with all those cross patties over there on a towel. No suit. And the awards are being going one after the other, one after the other. People sitting in the first row, the nominees, they're doing that bad acting. When they lose, they clap for the winner. बहुत अच्छा लगता है. They do. I'm standing there. And then I hear Sanjay Bhai's voice. Boman Irani, Boman Irani, like some baji wala. Boman Irani, kone suit. And I started changing and started dressing up. And Prem Chopra Sahab is on stage. And he started the nominations. And I'm fixing my tie. Literally, I'm telling you, it was so beautiful. And he says, and the winner is Boman Irani. And I said, if I go from front, it'll be too late. You have to go all the way around the giant stage. So I just went down from the stage, went from behind. There was a service ramp, with slats. The people who take the set up there. I ran up the service ladder. I fell down. Ouch. Fully dusted. I ran again. I fell again. I dusted myself again. And I said, easy, boy. Take it easy. All your life, you've run. You've fallen. You stood up. You've dusted yourself. And you move forward. And I went and collected my first award, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to close this with 3 little thoughts. Some years ago, I went to Oslo for the Oslo Film Festival, and they played my film, and they gave me an award. And after that, I was doing some interview with one young lady, and she starts asking me those regular questions. So what's your favorite food? What's your favorite destination in Europe? Have you seen the Aurora Borealis? Have you seen the Northern Lights? I got bored. I said, young lady, what magazine do you work for? She said, Vigi. I said, wow. I said, I'll tell you a story about a young man that your newspaper's ethics impacted. And I made a word that day. Whatever I do in my life, I have benefited from your sense of ethics. I will operate from this very same sense of ethics. Some years before that, I went to New York. I met my photography assistant called Vikram Pathak. He's doing fantastically well for himself. And he said, I want to take some pictures of you. And we go around on the street. I said, take me to Broadway. I went to Broadway. We stood outside the New Amsterdam Theater. And I said, take some pictures over here. Now, take me to the artist's entrance. And I went there, and there's a big star over there on the artist's entrance. And I've got a picture of me standing back with my head and the star off the New Amsterdam Theater, the one on which we saw in Funny Girl. Life has its lovely way of completing its full circle, And sometime before that, I was in New York at the Lexington Hotel. And when you come into the hotel, I do get embarrassed, but I always get a bouquet of flowers, which I take home to Zenobia and pretend as if I bought them on the way. But over here, I got a bouquet of red roses at the Lexington Hotel in New York. And I said, I can't take those flowers. And I took that bouquet and handed it over to the general manager. He's saying, what are you doing? I said, sir, I can't accept these flowers. He said, why not? Why bloody not? Does this guy sound familiar? I said, no, Mr. Sam Bada. You gave me my first job, literally on the ground floor, 100 meters away, 50 meters away, in this room. And you taught me my greatest lesson. Yeah, there are no shortcuts in this world. It was a beautiful moment. I had the privilege of meeting Sam Bada this December in Houston, where he has retired. And I told the audience this story, and he was sitting in the audience, and the man broke down. It is so beautiful that we give people advice. And we don't realize what you're saying counts. So when he said, pay your dues, for him, it was not a big story. But after 1979 to now, do the math, please. It's still stuck in my head. And he may never remember this. But what we say impacts people and impacts youngsters. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest of my story you know better than I do. Thank you very much. You're a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, first of all, I think amazing session. Thank you for doing this with us. Many of the things that you said are useful for the team here, particularly when you talked about the youngsters. You have to invest your time, you have to follow this thing. And I'm happy that you did that, and you rounded it up by talking about an insurmountable goal. In our shitty management language, we call it the BHAG goal. It's called
The what goal, sorry?
BHAG, BHAG, which is big,
Bhag.
big.
Bade bhag wala.
BHAG, BHAG, I said bhagna.
Bhagune wala
It's
goal.
the full form of it is a
Right.
big, hairy, audacious goal.
Okay.
Right. And unless you have that, you really can't achieve what you want to do.
Yeah, all right.
But that's not my question. My question is, being a Parsi, born in Bombay, the fact that you could play a hardcore, and one of the largest strategies that we run here is real estate investing.
Right.
Nearly $4.5 billion.
Right.
The favorite movie,
I
obviously.
told you these dudes are rich, man.
So obviously the favorite movie is Khosla Ka Khosla. And your portrayal of a typical Delhi land grabber and the accent that you were able to bring together and the body language was just, I grew up in Delhi, so it was just awesome. I could, relate with it. As a Parsi and Bawa, having brought up in Bombay, to get that and then to do a typical Sardarji,
Right.
with, again, the same body language.
yeah.
What kind of a method actor are you? How do you do that? And, if you can sort of expand on that, that'll be awesome.
So I'll just say this. what you were impressed by is the bare minimum. If you get the accent right and you get the body language right, like Sudhir Joshi told me, you're just doing the externals. You're just doing the externals. And that's not easy. But that comes through observation, that comes through, repetition. You stand and you hear the voice and you keep on doing your version of that voice. And it's only to create an authentic world. What is the character about is the real hard work, which is here and here, which are the internals. What is he thinking and what does he #want? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So how does one prepare a character? Is to figure out what does he want? What are his goals? What is his bhag goal? And how is he negotiating those obstacles to get to his bhag goal? You'll figure out a character by that. He reveals himself by the actions he takes to achieve his goals, his wants. For me, I'm going to touch upon another subject since you said method acting. But for me, all that is just the tip of the iceberg. You've impressed people. That's fine. There are two things for an actor, for a character. One is his bhag goal, or his what we call want. And in the third act, there's one more thing that we concentrate on, especially in the writing process and the acting process. It's called a need. I touched upon that also. You want the girl. You want to marry the girl in a romantic comedy. You want to win an Oscar. You want to win the World Cup. You want to go circumnavigate the earth on a small raft. People will follow you for your passion and the fact that you had a want. But the only way that they are going to empathize with you is if you figure out your flaws and you work on the flaws. That's your need. And that normally happens in Act 3, not only in movies, in real life. Imagine you achieve your goals, but you're unhappy. And you're unhappy because I'm a failed person. That's not fun. Believe me. And the people around you will never cheer you on because you've achieved a target. But if you've achieved a target and you become a leader of men through action, that's a need. We are all flawed. Every one of us. And there's another thing you're going to find out in a character, is his wound. So in Khosla Ghosla, his wound is that his son does not sit with him. Mera beta baithta bhi nahi mere saath. Bahut bura lagta mujhe. And that's why he makes all his mistakes, because he wants to impress his son by wearing golf clothes. No, that's again external. Inside, he's a antagonist. He's not going to change, but the protagonist has to. So that was the preparation for Khosla Ghosla. I love to make an analogy with characters and screenwriting and our own lives. What is it that we are missing out in ourselves? We got to take an account and a stock of it once in a while. Your bhag goal eventually is the one you work on yourself. That's very important. Thank you.
Just one
Sure,
question.
sure.
You've been through ups and downs. When did you realize that you have made it? What was the moment?
I am still working on it, buddy. Honestly, look, when I was a kid, when I'd gone to take Farooq uncle, I knew I had to make a movie someday. I knew I had to make a movie. I had to, but responsibilities, whatever. And I became an actor. I started doing well. I played that out. And then finally, 12 years ago, I decided to write and direct and produce my own movie. Now, everything that I have said today and all my learnings, pay your dues, start from scratch, know your onions. I can't assume that because I've been acting for 35 years, I know how to write a script. I don't. I may have written scenes for friends in their movies, but I've never written a full-length script. So I started from scratch, studying, attending workshops, catching myself a guru, going literally, guru, Alex Dinelaris, a friend of mine in New York who went on to win and become an Oscar winner 5 years after I knew him. You should know how to pick the right people also. Not because he's an Oscar winner, because he's a good man who understands and he's a good teacher. And I learned from him. And I wrote my first film. And finally, at the age of 65, I'm still struggling to put something together. Because I did not go reaching out making money on this movie. I'll be stupid if I was making money on Mehta Boys. What I'm looking for is something I can be proud of. And that's my need. A validation to myself at the end of the day. So, by the way, I just plugged Mehta Boys, if you don't mind. How many of you have seen it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not good enough. Not. Please watch it on Amazon Prime. Please watch it. Yesterday there was a boy in Jaipur who comes up to me and says, I watched only half of Mehta Boys. And I said, why is he telling me this? And then he broke down. He said, I couldn't watch the rest of the movie till I went and hugged my father. And I'll watch it with him, I promise you. That's the effect the movie has on people. And I want you all to watch it. Will you all? Thank you. Oh, you're a promoter? Bolte ja rahi hai. It's on Amazon Prime. But it's less than 2 hours. And it's for free. You only need a subscription. Or bolna thoda. Any more questions? Yes, sir. Your mic is not working. Don't worry about it. Yeah, now it's working. Yeah.
A bit off the topic, but how is Alfred doing right now? Understanding that, okay, as you said previously, you still, completing your needs, but you've still achieved a lot in life. So now what are you talking to Alfred nowadays?
To youngsters, on the autograph book, I always write, tomorrow belongs to you. But maybe a little more mature folks who ask for autographs, I always write, to what's next. If you have no next want, bimar pad jaoge. I'm telling you, I can't afford to be bored. I can't afford to be bored. I'm coming over here and imagine you're the worst audience in the world. Just imagine. I have to stand and talk to you for the allotted amount of time because he's looking at the clock, right? I have to enjoy myself. And I need you to enjoy it with me. And that's what my life is all about. I need to not be bored with life. I need to look for, I make a plan, whether it's a holiday or the next film or what I'm going to do next. I just keep planning for the next good thing, to what's next. So I've got a long way to go. I got lots to learn. I'll tell you something else which is very dear to me, is something called Spiral Bound. I started in the pandemic for young writers and directors. I teach screenwriting. Whatever I've learned, it went into my script, the Mehta Boys, but it can't be for one script alone. It has to be shared. And I've finished 85 sessions free of charge for anyone who wants to be a writer. That's my give back. The industry has given me a lot. To watch next.
Thank you, Mr. Boman, for keeping the audience so captivated. And I think the 2.5 hours, you managed to keep us all.
It felt like 2.5 hours?
No.
What the hell, man?
No, I meant the 2.5 hours. We're actually just 1 hour short. So you still owe us 1 more hour and we'll probably call upon you again.
तूने सब सिखाया उसको चाबी मार के.
But I'd just like to call Lakshmi Iyer, CEO, Investments and Strategy at Kotak Alternate Assets, to please give a token of appreciation to you. And before that, I'd also like to call Ms. Zenobia to the stage.
Hey, this is not right here. I do the hard work and she gets a token of appreciation. Aa jao, darling. Yes, Baba. Jewelry that I sold off, उसका सूट से इतना jewelry मेरे को दिलवाया ना उसने, चलो.
And gold prices have risen, so you better complain and get it back. So, while we have formally concluded the session, I just want to say a couple of things. This is not the first time I'm hearing Boman, but I must tell you, I think this would be even my numbers are pretty okay, but I don't remember the number of times I've heard him, at least half a dozen times. His passion, the way he delivers every time, irrespective of whether the audience is sleeping, whether the audience is eating or on the mobile, is absolutely intact. So I think give it up for this man who probably would be among the oldest in this group by age, but by...
What? इतना बोल के कचरा?
But, dil to bacha hai ji, and that attitude is what really, really matters. So thank you so much, Boman. I think you were the absolute star and the showstopper for today. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.